It's nice to not talk about the Giants for once and preview any games this week because they're on the bye week. And thankfully, this is occurring because honestly, Brian, I do not want to talk about, oh, well, the Giants are playing this team and yada, yada, yada.
It's like, well, how
All that
how will
fun
the
stuff.
Giants lose this week? Is basically
Yeah.
what these Thursday episodes have become. Is how do we lose this week? Now it's nice we just get to sit back and be like, we're good. There's
Yeah.
no loss. Get to enjoy Red Zone, play some bets if you're responsibly. Play some bets on some
Responsibly.
football. You just sit
Always.
back, enjoy a beverage and enjoy.
There you go. Damn right. So, no, we don't have to worry about losing or any of that just stuff that we're so used to seeing from our team and just enjoying this football weekend. So, but
Yep.
happy Thursday to y'all. Welcome to the 30 Podcast. I'm your host Nathan Nguyen, joined by my guy Brian Germinaro. We got a going for you guys today. We'll talk about some Giant stuff as always because they did have a press conference, specifically by Joe Schoen. He talked about a few things that are notable. We'll talk about some things that we want to see from the Giants in the second half, quote unquote, second half of the season. And then, we'll touch on some other topics. We had Anthony Richardson pop up this week as a notable player. The Bears are kind of a mess right now. And of course, there is a situation going on with Deion Sanders and Shadur Sanders that is worth talking about as well. So, I will say it kind of sucks being around losing our whole lives, Brian. We talked about before the show, right? About our high school days and stuff like that. So you played football in high school, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
No, I didn't play football.
Would you?
Going back, I would have.
Okay. What position would you have played?
Probably safety.
You're what, 6 something?
6'2".
Jesus.
6'2", 140.
Oh, crap.
Safety build.
Oh, for sure. You could basically be freaking Nubin or McKinney or something. Yeah. For me, I played running back and corner. It's kind of weird because in the Tracy newspaper, so Tracy's where my hometown is, they released on homecoming like the whole, like it was one page with the whole roster, and under each guy they had their positions. So I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't the best player, nor was I even a notable player. I was basically the backup to the backup, so third string, basically fourth string. I should have been third string, but that's nothing to be proud of. They put me down as ATH, which for those of you who don't know is basically athlete, meaning I don't have a position.
You're just a dude.
I was literally just a dude, like
Andrew Peppers, Charles Woodson, like those are the legends you're going with.
Like I felt special in the moment, but I was like, no. Now that I think about it, I'm like,
hey,
damn.
I mean, like when I play NCAA, like I'm always targeting the athletes. They're the most fun to play with. Like if I get an athlete, I'm like, you're probably gonna be my quarterback. If you can throw the ball, you're probably gonna get a chance at QB. And then normally I have to move them out to running back because they suck.
If you could throw in the slightest, I'll try you a quarterback. I
did a Colorado State rebuild recently, and I had a guy from Colorado, an athlete. I'm like, this is gonna be the guy I built the program around. 4 years, let's go. I played one game with him. Completely hated his throwing motion, just moved him. I'm like, I can't play with him. Because he would stop his feet twice and then like throw sidearm. I'm like, I can't do this.
What the?
It was the weirdest. It was the weirdest throwing motion I've ever seen, and I'm like, I gotta either figure out a way to change it or just move him to a new position because I can't play like this.
Yeah, bro, you don't even see quarterbacks like stomp their feet twice and chuck it. Like, especially if you're under pressure, you have no time to just.
I'm like, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, this guy's gonna be getting lit up every single play.
You know what's crazy? I'd still take him over Daniel Jones.
Oh, yeah, I take anyone over Daniel Jones. I take my cousin's kid who's 2 over Daniel Jones.
Oh my. Yeah, because I mean, he may be 2, but he sure could run an offense sort of better than number 8. So yeah, I think I was basically an athlete according to the newspaper. And what's crazy was I didn't matter that much to the point where they messed me up and put me as a junior. I was a senior. when they released the homecoming paper. So I was just like, damn, I really don't matter. Um,
At that
and
point,
like
oh, okay, this is not good. There's no future for me in this sport.
exactly, like that's when I knew I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna
Got
play
it.
college ball. And like it was fun. Obviously the losing wasn't fun. We went in my 2 years of playing like 3-17. We won one game my senior year, and it was against an in city school, so it was a rival school. What's it called? Kimball High School was their name. And I remember one of my teammates literally crying after the game, and like we were all happy, but like one guy was like literally crying a lot
It's
after.
like,
But he
bro,
was
this is,
like, if
bro,
that didn't mean something,
like, I get why he was crying because like it's like a move on. Like I probably never played a down of football again in his life. But at the same time, like, bro, you're on a losing team. Like, it's kind of a blessing you're not playing football again.
dude. And that was our second game of the season of the season in total because we
Wait,
lost
wait,
both
wait. That
games.
wasn't the last game of the year?
Nah,
I thought that was the last game of the year. And that's why he was crying.
nope.
Oh, my God.
He was literally crying because that was our first win. Man, it was a
Wow.
mess. It was a mess
Yeah.
that year. I will say my two of my favorite moments in high school playing was a scrimmage where I faced a dude that was like 6 foot. This dude was like, he was fucking big arms and all that crap. He was built like a wide receiver. And I don't know what the heck happened in the scrimmage, but the quarterback threw my way because that was like 5'1", 5'2". I'm 5'5", 5'6" now, but at the time I was 5'1", 5'2". He targeted me, but he underthrew that thing, and the receiver had to stop and try to compete with me with the football. I was like, oh hell nah, because
It's like, I'm getting the fight now. Let's go.
yeah, let's go. Give me the ball, baby. So I picked it off, and the silent was happy. They're like, nah, yeah, because I wasn't
Right, yeah.
that great, but when I got the pick, everyone was excited for me. So that was a memorable moment. And then what's it called? My other memorable moment was it was against a school called East Union, and our two starting running backs were out for the game with injuries. So it was me and this other guy playing running back. So I got 2 carries for about 11, 12 yards because that's my first time actually getting carries in a football game. So I will say that's two of my favorite moments. And then a bonus one would be my mom coming to my game. She never comes to any of my games, but for the first time ever in my life, she went to my football game. It was senior day, and I remember my coach was like, all right, because I was playing running back and corner.
Yeah.
And then my position coach for both, he was the same guy, by the way, Coach Williams. He was like, all right, starters, y'all got to play really well because I want to see the backups get in. And it was against a bad school because this school called Tokay. They were always known for being
senior
bad.
night. They always schedule a bad school. Like, they try to rig it for them to win.
Yeah.
I say
and
try.
What's up, Derek? How you doing, brother? Happy Thursday to you. But yeah, so it was a bad school. So I was so excited. Like I get to play in front of my mom, like show her what I got and stuff. Like show her that, hey, like football means a lot to me. Like I get to like play and stuff. We got blown out, 56-0, I believe. And I only touched the field as normal.
Stands like, this is why I don't come to these.
I was like, bro, the one time my mom comes to the game, bro, we got blown out, and then I got to play in the fourth quarter, when the score was out of reach. But still, I was just like, whatever. But
hey, you accomplished the coach's goal. He said he wanted the backups to come in. The backups came in.
That is true.
Just not when it spin.
Just not when it matters. I mean, we're down 56. It's just like,
well, he never specified that. He just said he wanted the backups to come in.
That is true. So. Well, hey, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm always grateful, but honestly, I think it's safe to say both of us have always gone through losing football in our lives, and it's not fun, whatsoever. No. And
it's like watching a different sport when you watch like what position.
All right, play? Running back and corner, my man.
There you go.
Yeah, let's be honest. I love that I play two positions, but like I mentioned earlier with Brian, they didn't really have a position for me. Like I was a fast Asian 5'2" kid, like with only 1 year of experience in football before my senior year. So I mean, I played flag football. I was
Flag football school.
yeah,
They just added that in my hometown. They just did.
really.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, if you want a funny story about like I didn't play high school football.
Yeah.
I didn't play football. I played baseball growing up. But my sister's boyfriend played football, and he would play like every single snap on offense and defense and special teams. So he was like Travis Hunter out there playing 120 snaps a night. And I forgot like what game it was, but he's like, we're getting blown out 56-0. It's the fourth quarter. We're on a kickoff, and I dog it. Like I jog off, and the coach screams at me. He's like, I'm not going to say his name. What are you doing out there? He's like, Coach, I played every single snap. We're down by 50. I need a second. I need a break.
Bro, you're like a star player, bro. What the
poor
fuck?
kids dying out there.
Where's the bench? No bench.
I'm in like a smallish town. Our team was so small that they had to dress the freshmen and make us look bigger. So every freshman dressed. They didn't get in the game, but they dressed.
They dressed. Hey, because you never know, you could get in at any time. Let's
Exactly.
see. So you too. Okay.
Corner receiver makes more sense to me. Like running back, like I think it's like running back and linebacker and wide receiver and corners. Like, yeah, high school you play every snap. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're good, man, they'll put you out there. They'll put you out there. But, let's say flag football. Funny enough, we were sort of bad, and then the coach of the flag football team. This is when I was like 13, 14. He was like, "All right, Nate, you're a quarterback," and I'm like, holy crap. Because, like, dude, growing up, my position was I always wanted to play quarterback.
Everyone wants to play quarterback. Everyone wants to play quarterback. Everyone wants to be point guard. Everybody wants to be, the starter or, the power hitter in the lineup.
Yeah, like they want to be the notable positions. So yeah. I was super excited. I led my team. This is crazy. This is the only experience of me have playing winning football. I led my team all the way to the championship game in flag football. So proud because all the hard work finally paid off. And I was chucking it, bro. I ain't gonna lie. If my first read, oh my god, if my first read wasn't there, I was taking off, bro.
Oh, so you were? Oh, okay. That sounds familiar. That sounds like Ian Book at Notre Dame. That's what he did all the time. He's like, crap, he's not open. Gotta run.
Hey, I had speed.
Throw me up the wall.
I had speed, but if they're coming at me, I was like, nah, I'm running.
So you're a fast version of Daniel Jones, only you just don't stare down your read.
Damn right. Or I didn't throw any picks.
Ooh.
There you go. I kept that ball. If I kept that ball safe, I tell you that much. But we ended up losing the national championship. You know what team I was actually during my flag football years?
Patriots.
Holy crap! Yeah. I was the Patriots.
I'm trying to think. I'm like, okay, like if he did this, like let's think of the good teams back then. I'm like, well, the Patriots are the best. So
yeah, I was the Patriots. I was basically aging Tom Brady, and we lose to you guessed it, Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, I was gonna say Giants. I'm like, are you really going history here?
Really going.
That's how you know it's flag football when the Cowboys win.
That's what I'm saying, Derek. I'm telling you, man. If my first read wasn't there, I'm running. Quarterback is a kicker, punters. Yeah,
exactly. They're like there's position like matching on each side.
If you were talented, they put you on the field all times, bro. Even kicker. I ain't gonna lie though. I think for kicker, for my team, they always had to find a guy from the soccer team because no one could.
no one wanted to do it.
Kick. And it was always, you guessed it, an Hispanic. Not to be racist, it was always a Hispanic because those guys on my school specifically,
they got a boot.
Yeah. Every the year after I graduated, I came to visit, the school and watch the games and stuff. It got so bad. There was no one on the guy's soccer team, so they went to the girls' soccer team.
Oh.
And they got one of the best players who actually had a decent boot. Yeah. Hey, man, Dallas school is.
They can kick it. I don't care.
Oh, yeah. They couldn't do kickoffs, so they had a separate kicker for kickoffs. But she could she could sort of boot it, man. She could hit like a
Hey, good
good,
for her.
yeah, 30, 35 yarder. She was Asian too. Like I was like, damn, us Asians doing something in football for once. You feel me? So, but yeah, soccer exactly. So at the end of the day, our football experiences are pretty. They consisted of a lot of losing. It was fun because we got to experience in the process, right, Brian? But at the end of the day, it was a whole lot of losing. And honestly, with the teams that we root for, well, outside of Notre Dame,
I know Notre Dame's the one team I have right now.
yeah, and the Mets, they
And the Mets, yeah, right in the article right there. But it's the offseason for them. It kind of sucks. I miss it.
Meet the Mets. Wait, aren't they gonna get? Didn't they meet with Juan Soto and Cali?
They're meeting with him this week at some point. Yes, with Francisco Lindor with them. It's gonna be Steve Cohen, Stearns, and Francisco Lindor. I think in the same room with Juan Soto.
Why is he in Cali though?
I think that's just where he lives or where Boris lives.
Oh, yeah. I low-key hate Boris, bro.
Yeah, Boris is prevented a lot. Boris, yeah.
He was the one that was it the Montgomery contract, right? That was him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's done a lot. He was really good. He was a super agent. He kind of had a bad offseason, so he might be losing his fastball, but this will get his name back in recognition when he signs Soto to that, generational contract.
Do you have an idea what this contract would be that he would probably sign, Soto?
He's gonna get like 50 to 60 million a year. I'm gonna say 11 years, 600 million is what he's probably gonna get. I think that's what the Mets are gonna offer this week. That's about 55 million a season.
And then he'll just end up signing with the Dodgers and all that.
No, the Dodgers are out on him. It's like the Mets. It's like the Mets, Yankees are the favorites, and like the Blue Jays and the Red Sox are just kind of hanging around. But he's not going to be a Dodger.
I thought they were.
Dodgers were interested, but they came out and said they're not a serious threat for Soto.
Oh, damn.
So it's basically a Mets-Yankees race, and then with the wild cards of the Blue Jays, the Giants, and the Red Sox.
The only dynasty I ever rooted for was the Lakers. Hey,
Showtime Lakers. I mean, that's a fun one to root for. That's a really fun one to root for.
Dude, they were good, bro. Magic is passing. I mean, sure, his off the court stuff was terrible because he couldn't keep it in his pants. But on the court, he was like passing. He was the GOAT.
Man, how many seasons did he miss because of HIV again?
Wasn't it one or two?
I think it was like one or two. It wasn't long. Magic Johnson. Let's see. Let's go to the old Wikipedia here. All right, so he played from 79 to 99, then came back in 96, and then played in 99 and 2000. Yeah, he came back for 96. So I want to say he spent a few seasons away from the team.
Oh, so HIV was an M.
Well, that was during the AIDS crisis. Where they didn't know what it was.
True. They didn't know how to.
People were afraid, like, if he sweated on a guy, they were going to give him AIDS.
Hey.
It was just so new. They didn't know. It's like all the panic with COVID towards the beginning. We're like, we don't know how this transmits with each other.
True, yeah. Gotta keep it in your pants, Magic. Gotta keep it in your pants. So, damn, imagine. Why'd you miss games? Well, I was injured. What about you? I had HIV.
I had HIV. What? Well, that's unheard of now because, like, science.
Yeah.
But
because we're safe now, yeah.
Yeah.
But he retired early. Yeah.
Yeah, he retired early. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so still, Magic gotta be smart, baby. I bet obviously if he go back, he'd be safer and smarter. But
obviously.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. He's still one of the best point guards of all time. His passing was outstanding, and now he's an owner of what? Dodgers, Lakers.
He has a stake in the Commanders, I think. I think he's part of the group that bought them.
That's a
I don't think he's like a big. I think he's probably got like a couple shares, but like he does have a share in the Commanders.
So. I wonder why. So He's a part owner of all the NFL team, or the NFL team, an NFL team. No. See, so he's part owner of the Washington Commanders, but yeah, he's also the part owner of the Dodgers, the Lakers.
What's a lot of these
And
guys? Like the Fenway Sports Group owns the Red Sox, the Penguins, Liverpool. The Harris owns the Devils, the Sixers, and the Commanders. Like we're seeing a lot like these guys kind of bouncing around between teams.
Yeah, because I would think like Magic would own like an LA football team. Like,
I mean, like I don't know. Probably back in the day, he probably was. He got AIDS and got fatter.
Damn.
He got AIDS and got fatter.
Jesus.
I mean, he did. You know, he got out of basketball shape.
That's true.
He's like, I don't have to train anymore. I'm going to McDonald's.
Strip club? No, I'm just playing.
Well, he's already got HIV, so there's no worry anymore.
That's true.
I mean, like, you know, he's got to be safe because he doesn't want to transmit it to anybody. He's like, but I already got it, so.
All right, got it. Be safe. Safe sex. Safe sex.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I just would think that the Rams are in LA, the Chargers are in LA.
Yeah, he probably was more involved, like, back in the day when the NFL wasn't in Los Angeles and, like, trying to get, like, an expansion team out there. I bet you he was probably involved with those talks, but, like, the Rams had an owner with Sam Kroenke. The Chargers are Spanos. I don't really think he had a way to get in.
Okay, yeah. Well, hey, at the end of the day, he's a pretty successful man, owns a good amount of teams, and he's making money from it. I mean, they're all winning teams.
He runs one of the most successful operations in baseball right now in Los Angeles Dodgers.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
The Dodgers are not the Dodgers without Magic Johnson's ownership. And the way he's just built, he's hired the right people and just built a machine.
Because he's hired people that care about.
He hired baseball people.
You hear that, John Fisher? You hear that? I heard, what's it called? I think his parents or whatever, I guess they took some money from Gap.
Or his net worth plummeted.
Yeah, I don't know. Something about taking money from Gap and putting it towards the new ballpark in Vegas. So I'm just like, damn, you can't afford it on your own. So he has to like withdraw,
steal from his company. He like what? He like sold some of his shares. Yeah, that makes sense.
Ain't no Gap no more, anyways.
Let's be honest. Gap like part of Old Navy now?
I don't think so, but I know it's less successful than Old Navy. I'd say that much.
Yeah, like I'm trying. Like there's an Old Navy in my mall. I don't know where the nearest Gap is to me.
No one goes to the mall no more either. Too like
I went to the mall tonight. There's a bar in it.
Oh,
there's a bar in my mall I'm going to.
Is that a new one?
Yeah, it's cool. It's like off-brand Dave and Buster's.
Oh, Buster's and Dave's. I don't know.
Yeah. Round 1 in Danbury. It's gonna be fun.
Oh, I heard of that. We have one.
It's like it's got a bowling alley. It's got arcades, karaoke, darts. I'm like, damn, I gotta go check this place out.
Have a blast,
baby. They sell alcohol and darts. Oh boy, this is gonna be a disaster.
Bro, have a blast, man. Good stuff. I will. Hell yeah. All right. So unfortunately, we do have to talk about the Giants real quick. It is our bye week, which means Joe Schoen took the podium for the first time this past week. We won't go too long. We'll just touch on some key points because it was like a 30 to 40 minute.
Yeah, it wasn't anything crazy. But like, if you expected something out of this, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
yeah, it wasn't. He touched on some stuff that seemed it made sense. I mean, he was asked about the quarterback position to start, and
not that's been upsetting me. Like, people have been saying like, oh, he's saying you wouldn't have done anything differently. Well, yeah, he's going to say that. What's he going to say? No, I shouldn't have brought back Daniel Jones. Like, he's not trying to blow up the locker room right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to still be professional and maintain relationships with people.
It's about, letting the players know, like, hey, like, I know we're struggling, but it's team effort. Let's not just blame on one guy because, as crazy as it is to say it, Daniel Jones is one of the leaders on that football team. I mean, he is the quarterback. He's one of the team captains after all. Like,
it's just work ethic. Like, I know his play in the field is bad, but like the guys respect him because they see him in the locker room. They see him in the weight room trying to get better. That's what they see. They see a work ethic. Like, all right, this guy sucks, but at least he's trying. You know, it's like Deshaun Watson, who is like out here like giving no effort at all.
Yeah, and it's like, yes, his on the field stuff isn't great.
No, it's bad. It's horrific.
Yeah,
but it's just like it's a different guy in the locker room. Like, you see the videos of Jones out in Hoboken all the time. Like, he's just a good guy. He's just not a good quarterback.
And players respect, how he is and just the way he carries himself. But his on the field play is frustrating, and that's why these players, they won't say it out loud, or the coach. Obviously the GM's not going to say, "Oh, well, it's on our quarterback." No, it's the same thing, because there have been times where Jones does play well. But most of the time, it's always like mistakes or staring down your first read or just all the basic stuff you want from a quarterback he is not even doing. Yeah. And that's why, the play on the field on offense is just bad. So there was no update in terms of if Jones is starting next week, but Joe Schoen did say any decision they make will be a football decision. Now, see, right there, I know you put Joe Schoen on a lie detector test. That's a lie.
Oh, because half the things he said in that press conference were a lie. He's gonna lie.
Yeah, $23 million. You gonna risk that for the next 6-7 games?
Yeah,
nah, you're not doing that.
Joe Schoen put this opt-in into his contract for this exact reason. You don't think he's gonna not do something with that?
Yeah. So I ain't gonna lie. Let's be honest. By next week, whoever the starting quarterback is, it's not gonna matter to me. Like, if it's Locke, great. If it's DeVito, fantastic.
Cool. Yeah, it's like we're rooting for DeVito because DeVito's just fun.
That's
all it is. It's not because we think DeVito can develop to a good quarterback, can do this, can do that. No, it's just like DeVito had a funny run last year. He's plays up the funny Sopranos meme. That's all it is. That's why fans loved him so much, because he's funny.
Yeah, we're embracing the tank at this point.
Yeah.
So, he talked about Joe Schoen, I should say, talked about the nucleus of young players that the team has, a good group of veterans as well. So this team, one of the key things he mentioned was continuity, and I think that is obviously key to one day being successful, is having continuity and having the same players come into the organization every single year, because you change every year, you're not going to go anywhere. Yes, you can make some changes, but just having a core nucleus is key. What's it called? Shane mentioned how 19 of the 22 starters are coming back.
Yeah,
under contract. 41 of 53 total players. So the players on this team right now, they're going to be the same group next year. But then again, it's that's great. But we all know this team is a quarterback away, and I think it's. And I've seen people on Twitter, especially Giants beat reporters, say, "Oh, well, yes, you guys say the Giants are a quarterback away, but there's so many other holes." Yeah, but the thing is, you look at the Commanders, their roster, their offseason wasn't really that great. They still had holes. They didn't have a wide receiver 2 or 3.
Every NFL roster has holes.
Yeah, but it's about finding just stability at one of the key positions in football that can change everything. They got Jaden Daniels, and look at them. They're on top of the NFC East.
Big game tonight against Philly.
Oh, yeah. Which I'm not gonna lie, I do expect Philly to win. Jaden Daniels has not looked.
I expect Philly to win, which is shocking.
Jaden Daniels has not looked. Ever since they Hail Mary win, he hasn't looked the same. And maybe it's because he's still suffering from that side effects.
Oh, definitely. He's playing hurt.
But he hasn't looked the same like he's done at the beginning of the season. And he's playing a Philadelphia Eagles team that is just, they're a good
at home and season. They know how to win these types of games.
And they're good. They have a good secondary with Mitchell and Nguyen and all that. So we'll see what happens tonight. But regardless, the Commanders are a good example. You can be one quarterback away. And that's what the Giants are. Yes, they have holes at corner that they'll address in the offseason. They have question marks in the offensive line, but it's mostly just depth, if anything. Same thing with the defensive line. It's the depth and trying to figure out ways to be a good defense when Dexter Lawrence is offset field. This young defense that Joe Schoen mentioned, it's great. I'm excited about, we're both excited about these guys,
Yeah.
Lawrence and Tibbs. Well, we're not sure about Tibbs yet, but we'll see.
Tibbs is a conversation, but Tibbs or Ezekiel Ojulari.
Yeah. Ojulari has been solid this year as well. Burns has played great. Okereke is still relatively young at the linebacker position. Micah McFadden, the safety position, Tyler Nubin, especially what's it called? Joe Schoen was asked about losing guys like McKinney and Saquon, and he immediately was like, "Yeah, Tyler Nubin's been great for us. It just takes time."
Which is the answer I loved. I love that answer because he's just it's what we've been saying on this podcast for weeks. Yeah, it sucks that these guys are performing, but look at what's going on in the roster. They have replaced them with quality talent. We're not throwing, oh my God, who was the running back on Carolina that Dave Gettleman brought in? Jonathan Stewart. We didn't bring in Jonathan Stewart to replace Saquon Barkley. We brought in, Singletary, who had respectable numbers, and we're taking a chance on guys like Tracy and Eric Gray. Tracy has worked out for us. Similarly with the safety position. Yeah, we lost Xavier McKinney, who's having a, career season. Is probably one of the favorites to win Defensive Player of the Year. But Tyler Nubin is leading the team in tackles every other game.
Mm-hmm. And Nubin he's been an attacking machine all year long. I don't know where he stands amongst rookies, but he has to be top 5 in tackles.
I think he leads. I think Shane said he leads the league in rookie tackles. Ooh. Or at least his top 3.
Has to be, because he's getting 9-10 tackles a game. And yes, he's not getting interceptions yet, and it will come with time, but he is a solid safety as it comes, and he's only going to get better as the years go by. Same thing with Tracy. When he was asked about losing Saquon, Tracy has played phenomenal. And I think to sum the whole Nubin and Tracy part up, this 2024 draft class has been outstanding. I mean,
it's a home run. It could go down as one of the best draft classes in Giants history. Looking back 20 years from now.
Neighbors, wide receiver number 1, Nubin, safety number 1. Andre Phillips has been such a revelation, honestly. What's it called? Yeah, Tracy.
Johnson is looking like he could be a tight end. At least be in a tandem of a tight end 1. He might not be the sole guy, but he, along with somebody else, can be a really good tight end group for them.
Mm-hmm. And let's see. Well, Darius Moasu, special teams guy.
He's looked fine in the brief moments we've seen him.
Mm-hmm.
You get the week 1 start.
Let's see. I think the Giants need to bring in players who have already experienced winning.
Yeah, to build that culture back up.
Which is basically a quarterback. Culture. Which is basically a quarterback. They need. Yes, I mean Dexter Lawrence was still on the 2022 team that they made the playoffs and all that stuff, and
it's just one good win in Minnesota and get crushed by Philly. I kind of agree with him. We need to bring in guys that have been on teams like the 49ers or, the Lions or the Eagles. Bring them in and show them, okay, this is what we were doing here. We need to bring that culture to the Giants.
Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, this team,
You're right. This team, talent-wise, is definitely a quarterback away.
It's there. It's there, yeah.
But Joe Schoen is talking about sustainability. How do you win year in and year out? And by doing that, you need to build up that culture and that winning culture. It's not a horrible idea if you want to bring in some of those guys to jumpstart it. Hey, we're not winning right now, but let's go out there and grab, go out there and get Shane Vereen all those years ago. They brought in Shane Vereen because he was a part of New England, part of that winning culture. Bring that and try to get that here. They need to find that player again. Now, did Shane Vereen contribute to the culture that much? That's up for debate. But it needs someone like that on this team.
Speaking of Vereen, he was a pretty good receiving back.
Jay Vereen was a very underrated Giant. Those Giants running backs of the early 2010s, underrated. I'm not saying here that I want them on the Giants right now because I saw them play in that game against Green Bay, but regular season wise, they were putting up respectable numbers.
It was Rashad
Jennings, Shane Vereen, Paul Perkins. David Wilson, Bradshaw,
Yeah,
Jacobs, Peyton Hillis played that Monday
I
night game for
know.
us.
Yeah.
After the Madden cover, so yeah, the Giants like had some names.
They've
Orlean
always
Starqua was good for all those years.
the OG 26.
Yes. Wayne Gallman. I know he's a little past 2016, but he's still really good.
Shout out to him and Colt McCoy for being Seattle that one year, man.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. But yeah, this team has always had solid running backs, and hopefully Tyron Tracy is, truly the next guy.
Chapter.
Yeah, and he's made strides every single week. He's been phenomenal, and hopefully we'll get into what we want to see in the second half of the Giants, but he's one player that I want to note for sure. Another key thing mentioned in the press conference was about Giants and one-score games. They are like 1-5, and if you count Cincinnati, 1-6 in one-score games. And Joe talked about how they could be in a much different place. Yeah, but that's basically,
Well, that's what we said about 2015 just last week.
Oh yeah,
was how many one-score games were we in, and like just changed the outcome, and the whole franchise is different. So like I understand what you're saying. Like a loss is still a loss, but like at the end of the day, it is like, hey, if some things do differently, we're looking at this roster a lot differently.
The amount of one-score games the Giants were in 2022 that went our way was like what 10, 11, right?
At least
we were in a lot of one-score games.
Yeah.
It was us in Minnesota that had the most.
But Minnesota was ridiculous. They were like 13-0 or 13-1. Tracy's definitely a star. So who are the potential great players on the Giants to build around? All right, so for me, I would do Andrew Thomas, Dexter Lawrence, Malik Neighbors, Tyrone Tracy. You got to pick either Zeege or Thibodeau. Pick one of the two. Newbin, Drew Phillips. Probably the 7 guys right now, but that's pretty much a decent core.
That's a good nucleus.
Yeah, and then you just got to build this. And then there's other guys like, Okereke, McFadden. Like, those are guys you can be, I want to say core guys, but really good complementary pieces.
Okereke is he's approaching 30, but he's still young enough to.
McFadden's only 25. I think people forget that a lot.
And he's he's underrated. He really is underrated. His name doesn't get talked about much, but ever since he's teamed up with Okereke at linebacker, they've been phenomenal. But yeah, I mean, 2022 was just filled with one-score games. The Giants survived a lot of them because the defense was good.
Oh, Brian Burns.
There we go.
Sorry, I'm just thinking.
Oh yeah, it's for the nucleus. Yeah,
the nucleus. Brian Burns is part of the nucleus now. 100%. He's on a 5-year deal. He's a franchise player.
He's gonna be here for a while.
Yep.
But yeah, it was the run game and defense that kind of led the way for the Giants in 2022, and that helped them get into the postseason. Yes, Daniel Jones had a phenomenal game against the Colts, but that
whole team had a phenomenal game against the Colts.
Dude, that was one.
We gotta forget that. Like, even the one bright spot for the Colts was Bobby Okereke.
Yeah,
Giant now.
Damn right. Bro, my favorite moment was the Thibodeau sack where he was doing Snow Angels. Even though Nick
Snow
Foles
Angels, was it Nick Foles starting for them?
Yeah, dude, he was laying on the ground in pain, and Tibbs was like, "Yeah."
And then it went in the sidelines and went night.
And then what else? Landon Collins pick 6 had that pick 6 against.
Landon Collins pick 6. Yeah,
I miss him, man. I want him back. Mm-hmm. Even as a sub, linebacker.
I like him too, but I think Isaiah Simmons fills his role is the problem.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I love Simmons. I mean, without him, we're not being in Seattle on that block.
Yeah, no. I think Simmons is a better option than Collins right now, but I'm with you. I love Landon Collins.
Yeah, he was good. I remember we drafted him from Bama. I was so excited because,
I'm like, this is a star. This is a star right here. We just got to steal. And we traded up for him too, which I think a lot of people forget.
And he was solid for us, 100%. And got let go, came back. Was key in that 2022 run, and then, just a whole bunch. So that 2022 team was fun. We had some terrible wide receivers play for us during that year.
There could be great trivia questions one day, like who was the leading receiver of the 2022 Giants? Richie James, Isaiah Hodgins. Where are these guys coming from? Collins is so good. Yeah, right.
So good. Couldn't cover, but he
could not cover at all. It was horrific in coverage, but he could hit a quarterback.
He was like an in the box guy like all the time. So, but at the end of the day, Joe Schoen, he kind of talked about some key points. Nothing really surprised us about what he talked
No.
about at the end of the day, and I think one more key answer that was notable was when he was asked like, "Oh, will he be back next year?" He said, "Yes," and
Yeah.
that's all he said. Literally, move on to the next question. I was like,
I've been like you said, like, yeah, I'll be back next year, and like consistency and all that. And it's like the Giants, what Joe Schoen said that entire press conference can be summed up in one statement. It's Rome wasn't built in a day. Like he's
mm-hmm,
saying, like, it's a process and we have to be patient. The issue with say the Giants fan base was because of Dave Gettleman. If Dave Gettleman said it's a process and he built the roster so horribly that Joe Schoen had to come in and fix it. So he first tried to fix all the mistakes Dave Gettleman made, and now is trying to put together his roster.
mm-hmm.
Right. So that moved the timeline back. And I know they made the playoffs in 2022, and that was like just new team, new coach, that kind of vibes. But that's where Giants fans have to realize that yes, you don't want to be patient anymore, but we've only had Joe Schoen for 3 years. Don't crucify him for the reason the Giants have been bad for a decade when that's on John Mara hiring Dave Gettleman instead of hiring a smarter person to run the team all those years ago.
If Gettleman can get 4 years and not make the playoffs in every single one of them, those seasons, Joe Schoen
Yeah.
and Brian
And
Daboll.
get a retirement ceremony on the way out. Like, not even get fired. He was like basically like left on his own terms. Like,
Yeah.
no, dude. Joe Schoen, if Dave Gettleman gets that, Joe Schoen deserves a lifetime contract.
Mm-hmm. And like we talked about before, Joe Schoen and Daboll deserve to get their guy. They've always wanted their guy, and even after that 2022 season, they still scouted like the CJ Strouds of the world and all that stuff. And this is a season. I mean, they're 2-8. If the losing continues, like they will get their
CJ
pick.
Stroud was a realistic option for the Giants in 2022, he would be a Giant right now. Because like the Giants sitting at 22, they couldn't trade up to get him.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't going to happen.
Their home run hitter offense.
Yeah.
Players and stuff. Yeah. Like I say, Saquon basically, but
but like that can come. You can find it anywhere. Like the Giants, T. Higgins is in all likelihood a free agent at this point.
That's true.
Can the Giants be like, all right, let's back the we have all the Daniel Jones money coming off the books. Let's back the truck up. We're gonna have a young quarterback who'll be on a cheap deal. Let's go pay T. Higgins what he wants, so he can come in, take pressure off guys like Malik Neighbors, move Wandell to slot, which is where he should be, and takes pressure off the run game too. Because now we have to deal with, all right, we can't let Malik Neighbors or T. Higgins beat us. So,
Higgins
really built that offense. I think T. Higgins is going to be a guy the Giants take a major swing at this offseason.
100%.
At the very least, they should have him for a private workout. They need to bring him in.
You bring him in, the receiver position is set. You have Malik, Wandell, and Higgins.
Yeah. I people forget how Higgins is still a young. I think Higgins is only like 25, 26. Like, he's still a young guy. He can be a core player for this team for the next 10 years.
Mm-hmm. And injuries he's dealt with a lot this year so far, and he hasn't played a game since like week 5, 6.
Right,
so.
but like injuries
he's good when he's healthy. Yeah, and he's good when he's healthy. So I would take him 100%.
Players like that don't get to free agency that often. So when they're out there, you have to go take a swing at them.
Mm-hmm. And the Bengals would bring him back, but they couldn't agree to any contracts.
For them, it's T. Higgins or Jamar Chase. And which one would you pick?
Chase, 100%.
Exactly, yeah.
You have to keep Burrow and Chase together, which unfortunately,
it's like thank you for your service, Higgins, but like Chase is better than you. I'm sorry.
Damn right. All right, real quick, let's give out our team awards for the Giants. Start with the MVP of the team. Who do you have, buddy?
Oh, it's Dexter Lawrence. Without question. That's a guy week in and week out gives 1,000%. You just see it in his face. He wants to win. He wants to compete. He's doing everything he can to compete. That's a leader. That's a guy that will be an all-time Giant when it's all said and done.
Amen. Offensive Player of the Year. I think I have Tracy.
I have Tracy too, yeah.
Okay. Do you have him for Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year as well?
Yeah, but I was going to give that to like Malik because like I didn't want to cross it. I didn't want to give somebody player, Offensive Player of the Year, and then also give him Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Let's make it a little fun. So Malik gets offensive rookie of the year in my mind, just because I
Tracy.
disqualified Tracy.
I get you. And Neighbors deserves to be the team rookie of the year. It's just that the quarterback play has reduced his production so much.
Yeah, he's fallen off pretty big.
Yeah.
And that's not his fault. Like he was
Mhm.
wide open on multiple plays on Sunday, and Jones couldn't hit him.
Yeah. And the only offense we can generate is through the running game. So that's
because it doesn't involve Daniel Jones throwing the ball.
My God. Defensive player of the year. I still have Lawrence. I can't really think of anyone else, so I give.
The only person I thought of would be like, I won't say he's like a defensive player of the year. I would say more of a surprise defensive player is Azeez Ojulari coming out of
Oh, there you go.
No, but like that's the same thing where like Dexter Lawrence is defensive player of the year, but like if you want to disqualify him for a second, you could make the argument that Azeez, because he's just been such a surprise and such a revelation this season.
Mm-hmm. Either Azeez or Burns, if anything.
Yeah, Azeez or Burns. Yeah, exactly.
So
I did it because we knew what Burns was going to be. So like he's not really surprising us. Ojulari's like, that's a surprise. Like, oh boy, like he's finally living up to his expectation.
Oh yeah. So defensive rookie of the year, Phillips.
I'm going Tyler Nubin. I think Phillips has played really well, and he's had dealt with some injuries, but I think just week in and week out, Tyler Nubin has just been that guy. He's constantly leading the team in tackles. I really think he's going to be a really good safety in this league.
Mm-hmm. Azeez is good. Has to play the run better.
Yeah, he has to play the run better. But like, if you just want to use him as a pass rusher, like I'm not really seeing the issue with it.
Yeah, and he has dealt with a lot of injuries in the past, but this season seems healthy, and hopefully keeps it that way. Because when he's on the field, he's like one of the more talented pass rushers on this Giants team. So, all right. Before we end our Giants segment, I gotta know, buddy, what do you want to see in the second half of the season for the Giants, as they have about 7 games remaining on the schedule?
I just want the Giants to go out and have like this young nucleus establish themselves. I want to see bigger contributions from Tracy and Wandale and Neighbors. I want to see McFadden make big plays. I want to see Tyler Nubin maybe get an interception. I want to see if Devontae Banks can earn the trust back and get back to being not a cornerback number one, because I think they got to address that in free agency, but a reliable corner that they can go into next year being like, okay, cornerback number 2 is set. We don't need to go out and address that. So it's how many holes the Giants need to figure out how many holes can already be addressed by just using the roster.
Holes, and Tracy has filled the running back hole. Running back number 1 for sure, and he should have that role for the foreseeable future, especially next season, because he is a very talented dual threat running back. He can catch passes out of the backfield. He was a former receiver in college, and he runs hard, and that's good to see. Malik Neighbors solves the wide receiver number 1 position. Tyler Nubin, safety number 1 position. Drew Phillips, slot corner for sure. Theo Johnson, potential tight end number 1. Like, these young rookie class that we just had, they have filled starting roles in good ways.
Mm-hmm.
They just need to, get more better players that will make a difference for this team.
Consistency. They need the consistency, which is what Joe Schoen has been talking about.
Yeah. For me, I want to see the continued growth of Evan Neal. Like, he played great. Yeah, he played great against Carolina, but that is the Panthers, and the defensive line is not that great. So if he can continue to grow and play that right tackle position well, because we already moved Illumino to the left side already, to left tackle, and he played pretty okay last week against Carolina as well. If Neal can continue to, show that, hey, like the whole stance change that he's had made a difference in Carolina, right? And if he can continue to see that the rest of the year, because I don't think they're going to bench him anytime soon. Like, he played well, so they're probably trusting him and more. I would feel confident to next season, him still being on the roster, and then we'll see what happens with Illuminor and whatever the case may be. We'll see.
Yeah, the line, like, because we'll have Van Roten's a free agent. Like, we'll have to address the line when we get to free agency. But like I said earlier, if Evan Neal can establish himself as a good right tackle, that changes things. The plan becomes easier now. Like, okay, we now have 3 line spots filled. Now we need to fill the guards.
Yeah. And that just also, to my next point, just on offense, just be competitive. I mean, this team is not scoring points at all. Like, they're last in the league in scoring, I think. Just put up points. Be competitive. Like if we lose, great. But I mean, not great, but oh well. But at least be competitive on offense to some degree. Like if it takes a veto or lock to turn this offense into a competitive one worth watching,
An
great.
NFL caliber offense.
Yeah, because we always it's always punt or field goals, and it's like it's all that shit, and it's
Finish. You
yeah,
want the offense to finish. Like just get to
exactly.
the end zone.
Mm-hmm. And then one more thing on offense, Jalen Hyatt. Can he get more involved? He had like 4 catches against
That's a big one.
Carolina. Can he step up? Because it's if we do go for Higgins in the offseason, Hyatt's gonna probably be demoted to wide receiver number 4. So this is his chance to show like, hey, like I can be a capable number 2, number 3
You don't
guy.
have to go after Higgins. I can be the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the opportunity.
Yeah, and obviously we'll always take Higgins over Hyatt. But
yeah.
yeah.
But like that's also like Higgins is amazing. Higgins also going to come with $30 million a year. Like you have to be smart. Where can I spend this?
Yeah, exactly. We all want Neil to work out. We all do. We all do. And yeah, that's kind of it. So 7 games left. The Giants continue to lose out, and everything would be 2-15, which would be terrible. But I'm sure the Giants will pull out a winner too. The rest of the year, it's just a matter of will those wins factor into their draft position, because they are currently has the 2nd overall pick, which they will get sort of their pick. I mean, Jacksonville has that number 1.
They will fall this week because they're not playing, and teams like the Titans and Jaguars are, and Cleveland, we're sitting right behind us.
Yeah. Plus the Jags, they're currently number 1, but they're not getting a quarterback. So we will get a pick. If the season ended today, we would get our pick of Zach. Exactly. So whether it's Shadur or Cam Ward, either option's fine with me. So, but yeah, that'll be that's pretty much it for the Giants. We'll talk more about the team next week. As I think they play the. Yeah, I forgot what it was. Honestly,
why do I want to say New Orleans?
That's a good. Bucks. There you go.
There it is.
At home too. Yeah. Oh, yay. What quarterback do you guys want? Ward.
Yeah, Ward.
His nonchalantness. I love Shadur. I wouldn't mind Shadur in the slightest. But Cam Ward has played like the best college quarterback in the league. In college football, I should say. His nonchalantness, his ability to make plays in crazy ways.
Situations too.
Dude.
Like Miami's been down a lot this season. And Ward is just cool, calm, collective. Gets them back. They were 9-0 until they lost to Georgia Tech last week. And they were fighting against Georgia Tech last week.
That was big. That was big to lose. Which is a great segue to our college football talk real quick. The rankings came out, I believe, 2 days ago.
Yeah, Tuesday. Come out every Tuesday.
Yeah. Your thoughts? So right now, as we stand, it's Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, Indiana. Top 5 team now.
Indiana, love to see it. Love to see Indiana doing well.
BYU, Tennessee, you're Irish, of course, at number 8. Miami 9, Bama 10, almost 11, and for some damn reason, Georgia at 12.
Georgia and Penn State are way too high. Those are my big takeaways. Like I know Penn State is gonna fall in the rankings because like they lost to Ohio State. They probably won't play in the Big Ten championship game. But the fact that like they're this high again, and yet again, it's just because they beat really inferior opponents is kind of annoying because Notre Dame is still being crucified for losing to NIU when they've beaten 3 ranked opponents. They've blown out Georgia Tech, which beat the 4th best team in the country, Miami. Like is Notre Dame the only one that's not allowed to lose to a bad game? Like they've come so far since then and have like proven that this is a different team, yet still held against them, which like it should. I'm not out here saying that Notre Dame should be the 5 seed. They definitely should take a step back because of the bad loss. I'm just saying it's not fair to disregard everything else they've done because they lost NIU.
And I think if I had to have any opinion on it, I would say like because you guys are independent, you guys are in a conference, so you guys have an easier way of scheduling games, and you guys have a lot of home games.
But at the same time, we don't get a bye. Like we'll never be able to get that bye. So like it does even out in a way.
Wait, you guys haven't had a bye yet?
We can't in the playoffs, the 12-team playoffs. There's the top four teams get a bye. We can't get one of those byes.
Oh,
We're
that's
not in a
like
conference.
gotcha. That's something like bye week, as in
No. Like a bye in the playoffs. We can't get a bye in the playoffs because we don't play conference.
yeah,
Which is a fair compromise, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, you want to be independent? That's fine, but you're not going to get the luxury of a conference champion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Perfectly reasonable for me.
I'm looking at the bracket right now.
Yeah, so they're what, 8? Yeah, they're going to play Tennessee in Tennessee. It's not
should
a
be
bad
all
matchup for us. Like Nico's really good. He's going to be a good quarterback one day. He's just a freshman and is just going through it right now.
Yeah, Boise and Ohio State. We know how that would end.
Ohio State's going to crush him.
Yeah, Penn State, Ole Miss.
I think Ole Miss can go in there with an upset.
Yeah.
I think this Ole Miss team is a lot better than people get it credit for.
And then see Bama, Indiana.
That's going to be a fun game. That will be a fun game.
That's a real test.
We're going to know a lot more about Indiana once they play. I think they play Ohio State next weekend.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we're going to know a lot more about Indiana then. But if they could play competitively against Ohio State, I'm not saying they have to win. I'm just saying keep it a one-score game for majority of the game. This team has a really good shot at making a run in the college football playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Oregon has been like the quietest #1 team.
They are, yeah. I mean, the problem, like, they play out west. They're in the Big Ten now. So, like, it's kind of weird. They're in, like, that weird spot where, like, yeah, you're a Big Ten team, but, like, you're still a Pac-12 team in everyone's mind. And, like, we're all used to you playing at, like, 10 o'clock at night when we're not, like, we can't see you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, like, Ohio State's on at noon every single Saturday. You know, Alabama's on at 3. We're constantly watching those teams. You know, diehards are only watching Oregon. You're not watching Oregon every single week like you are these other schools.
Yeah. So, and also woke up BYU being one of the teams that have a bye week. Pretty freaking cool, man.
Yeah, that would be awesome for BYU.
Yeah, out of all schools, never expected BYU to be this.
But that's the best part about the 12-team playoffs is we're gonna get schools like this. We're gonna get stories like this.
Yeah.
Like the 4-team playoffs suck because like you had to be perfect and only 7 schools could realistically have a perfect season. Now that one loss, it's like, all right, hey, you lost. That happens. You get another shot.
You can lose 2 games and sort of still get in. You can 3.
Lose 2 games and have a shot. But if you lose 3 games, and now we're having an issue.
Which happened with LSU when they lost to Bama on their playoff hopes.
Yeah. I love LSU coming out this week apologizing to Notre Dame like, oh, yeah, you guys are right about Brian Kelly. Yeah, no shit, we were right about Brian Kelly. I watched him for a decade. He's not a good coach. He's a really good guy to come in and build a program. Like, if you're a program that's, like, struggling, he'll come in and fix it and put on the right track. But if you want to get to that next level, he can't do that. You need someone else to do that.
Mm-hmm. So, let's see. What else college football-wise I wanted to ask you about? Oh, Colorado. They're playing really well right now. They've
been a surprise. I will say, Deion is doing a great job of Colorado right now.
I really do hope they make the playoff. I think it would be if they win out.
I think from like if you're ESPN, you're begging Colorado to make the playoffs because like you got the Shedeur Sanders stuff, you got Deion as head coach, and you got the best player in the country in Travis Hunter playing in a playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna do numbers.
100%. Speaking of Deion, he was on Fox Sports the other day. It's
almost like a segmented that way.
No. And he was asked about Shedeur. It was like, would he do an Eli Manning situation where back in 2004 when the Chargers drafted Eli, Archie stepped in and was like, yeah, no thanks, we're not doing this. And Deion was like, yeah, but he'll do it privately. So the thing is, I think with Deion is I understand. It's crazy how he's doing it for Shedeur, but not Shiloh. Like Shiloh is like because Shiloh obviously he's not that great of a safety. Like he's a late round guy.
Yeah.
So I don't think Deion is too focused on him and where he goes. But Shedeur, obviously top 5 guy, and he's Deion is going to take that Eli Manning approach, but do it privately, and that's the thing.
Which I think is the right way to do it.
Oh yeah. But what do you think? Is he like? What is he gonna like? What would he say? Like, what's he gonna do? Call up teams like privately or meet up with teams? I want to be like, hey, I know you want to draft my son.
I think during the private workout, I think Sanders will be like, he's not coming to you. He won't play for you. Now that gets out to the media, that a team could leak that, which is a problem. But
A
I think
dangerous thing.
in the way he goes about it, like when they go over those private workouts or during the combine meetings, like Shadur's got to be like, my dad's not going to let me play for you guys. Like, and I know that sounds crazy coming from an NFL draft prospect, but when your dad is Deion Sanders, you deal. It's a little different. Like that's why Manning could pull that off because Archie was his dad.
Mm-hmm.
Deion can pull it off because Deion Sanders is a Hall of Fame cornerback. He has a lot of sway and a lot of power that he could be like, no, your situation's bad. We're not playing for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking at the teams right now, and in terms of how high they'll be drafting. So Jacksonville doesn't need a quarterback.
Nope.
That's perfectly clear. Let's see. Raiders.
No.
Probably say yes to. Not the
I
Raiders.
think with Mark Davis is a horrific owner.
Tom Brady though.
I know, but how much say does Tom Brady really have?
On the Raiders, a damn lot. I tell you that
much. I would say that, but again, this is Mark Davis. Mark Davis would be, the worst owner in the league if Jerry Jones didn't exist.
Titans.
Maybe. I would lean no, but maybe.
Cleveland. He probably
with Stefanski, yes.
Patriots.
Yes. But they're not drafting quarterback, so.
Yeah, true. Giants.
Maybe.
What's holding you back from saying yes?
Mara.
Right.
Like, I think if Deion met with Shane and Dable, he bought in, but he also would look at what Mara has done for the past decade and be like, I don't know if the ownership up top is the best.
Saints.
Depends on who their coach is. Like, if they hire, like, Ben Johnson, I think it's a yes. If they do, like, a similar move and do, like, Dennis Allen 2.0, no.
Sleeper team. Cowboys.
Yes. Because he's got a personal relationship with Jerry Jones and all that.
You think Carolina's getting a quarterback or not?
I think it's going to be on how Bryce Young plays over these next few games because he's had 2 really good back-to-back games, and if he can have like a serviceable rest of his season, I think the Panthers will be more inclined to roll with him for one more year. See if they get one more year out of him, and then if it doesn't work, like I think they'll take a similar approach what they did with Jones, which is decline the 5th-year option, but give him that one more year to start and just see what happens.
Okay. Yeah, if I'm Carolina, I'd still trust Young the rest of the way. I mean, I know that benching
he's only played 20 games. Like,
yeah,
it's still a relatively small sample size to be like, this guy's a bust.
If there's one team that isn't a quarterback away, it's the Panthers. They have so many glaring holes, man. O-line, receivers, like, well, then again, Leggett and Coker are fine, but like, there's so many holes on that team, especially defensively too. Like, it's a mess in Carolina, and I'm happy for Bryce Young. He's won the past couple games. Has he played well? He's been okay, but with these young quarterbacks, they need time. And I do want to. Our last point before we head off here is Caleb Williams and Anthony Richardson. Chicago this week fired their OC Shane Waldron, which honestly makes no sense because I think Thomas Brown is their new OC now. He was a passing game coordinator, but at this point, Chicago's a mess. And Matt Eberflus was the worst guy that Caleb could start his career with. So I heard something that the Bears didn't want Caleb to play anymore, that they want Tyson Bagent.
The Bears roster, I think, doesn't want him to play anymore.
But why is it Caleb's fault?
I don't know. I think he's just like pinning it on a guy in the locker room. It's like, we don't know what's going on in that locker room. How is Caleb Williams reacting with his guys? Like, he could be still. What was like the biggest, complaint going out of college? Was his personality? Would he be able to thrive in a market like a New York or Los Angeles or Chicago, which is number 3 in terms of like market size? Is he still kind of doing that, stuff behind the scenes of like pouting and deflecting blame? Be like, I just want to snuggle with my dog after a loss. Is he not taking that accountability where this backup is, and that kind of rubs the veterans the wrong way?
Mm-hmm. And it's not his, like, I understand he's young, but I know for me, he is not his fault. I mean, the coaching staff is
No.
terrible.
I don't think it's his fault either.
Yeah.
Eberflus sucks.
The offense. I mean, I know 3 points against the Patriots last week. That's ugly. But then again,
if you're the Bears, like you have to give Brian Johnson a blank check, and just be like, "What is the OC for the Detroit?" And just be like, "Come here and fix this."
But I wouldn't want to go to Chicago either.
No, that's why you give him the blank check. It's just be like, write down any number and we will pay it. Please come to us.
But even then, though, I still wouldn't take it. I think there's when you have a good thing going, especially in Detroit, because dude, the vibes in Detroit are immaculate.
Oh my god, yeah, they're incredible.
Yeah, I don't think any of the guys want to leave. I don't think the OC wants to leave. I don't think the DC Aaron Glenn wants to leave. Look, Dan Campbell's gonna be the coach for the next at this rate, the next 15 to 20 years.
Yeah,
like.
He's not getting fired by the Lions. It's going to be when he leaves, it's either he's retiring or they've mutually agreed to part ways.
On his own terms. Like there's something happened in the family that he wants to spend more time with him.
Yeah.
That's going to be
the Pete Carroll situation in Seattle last year. Yeah. Where, he just kind of left.
Quietly, too. Not much news when he left. Not much
he came out like nowhere. It's like, oh, Pete Carroll's not going to be the Seahawks coach anymore? That's weird. Yeah.
I think he's at USC now as like an advisor, I think.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, like USC, talk about a program. Like, they might need to fire Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley is not a big conference coach, and I think it's on full display right now.
I think they switched quarterbacks, right? It's not Miller Moss anymore. It's some other. I think it's like some Hawaiian named dude. I forgot his name. I believe
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, but in Chicago, it's a bit of a mess right now, and hopefully they get it solved by next year, I should say, because there's no hope this year whatsoever for Chicago. I mean, yes, their record is competitive, but in the NFC North, there's no way they're making the postseason, especially with the Packers, playing as good, not great, but as good as they are. Minnesota, and then Detroit's the number one.
Minnesota off to a great start, and they've fallen off, but I still wouldn't count them out because Brian Flores is a great defensive coordinator. I think he can scheme up a really good game plan.
They'll sneak in as the 7th seed, Minnesota, honestly.
They will be in the hunt all season. They might sneak in, but when you see that graphic, they'll always be right there.
Exactly. One last thing. Anthony Richardson. 2 weeks ago, I think, it was announced that Flacco was going to start the rest of the year. Yeah, talk about going back on your word. Anthony Richardson will be back under center for the Colts, and he will be the starter the rest of the season. Now, like I just mentioned, that's what they said 2 weeks ago with Flacco. We don't know. Indianapolis
is a mess.
Dude. Oh
Jim Irsay is horrific.
Dude. Was it Shane Steichen is the coach for Indianapolis, if I'm mistaken?
Yes, Shane Steichen.
I don't know what's going on. It's a mess in Indy. Like Jonathan Taylor, yes, is their one always bright spot and everything, but I think it's safe to say Richardson was always a project.
Oh my! Out of the draft, he was a project. He wasn't good in college. He just had the build and the athletic ability to be a really good quarterback. It was just going to take a lot of time.
I think it's safe to say teams look at CJ Stroud and just have this unrealistic narrative. If we get a quarterback really high, he'll be great for his first year. It's not like that. It's like a once in a blue moon type thing. Yes, AR was a talented guy, but you just mentioned he was not ready to be an NFL quarterback. That's why he's struggling right now.
Look at his stats in college. They're not good.
So inefficient.
They're not. They don't signal this guy is the 4th overall pick worthy. It's this guy is going to get drafted, but it's going to be a 3rd round pick.
He's very inefficient, and he'll hopefully get better. He has a decent army.
Yeah,
he can run with the ball, but it just
he has the tools. He just doesn't go on the field.
He needs the right people around him, and I don't think he has that right now in Indianapolis, and that's why they switch back and forth between him and Flacco. Same thing in Chicago, right? Caleb Williams, he's not surrounded by the right people, and that's why he's trying. Drake May has looked decent. They just need weapons in New England. Bo Nix, Sean Payton, they've been great together. Has he put up crazy numbers? No, but you can see the growth with Nix. Michael Penix is NA because obviously
he's not starting for a while. He's behind. He's behind Cousins.
Basically, Jordan.
But that's what you had to do with Michael Penix. He had to sit for a year.
Because he's not ready. And plus,
we said this on this podcast that like if you want to draft Michael Penix, draft him in the second round, cut Daniel Jones, and you start Penix next year.
Penix has a beautiful arm, though. I'm so excited to see him play when he steps on the field, and I wish the Giants were able to get him, but
we thought the Falcons would pass up on a defensive lineman and draft him
on a pass rusher, right? And then we criticize him so much, and then they end up getting Matthew Judon.
Okay, you've been validated a little bit.
It's like makes sense. Like you made up for your mistakes, and
I'll take Judon.
But at the end of the day, look, these young quarterbacks, they need time, and that's clear for any young quarterback out there. And for the Giants, whoever they get next year, even if he does struggle to start. Now, I will say, please, for the love of God, do not draft Carson Beck. I'm not sure if you saw on Twitter, but there was a player comp.
I did. I retweeted it. I'm like, I was the one that retweeted it. I'm like, I know Carson Beck's not good, but this is mean.
Dude, the floor being Will Levis and the ceiling being Daniel Jones is a big issue.
That's just mean. Like, can you give the guy a little credit?
A little credit?
A tad? Like, he was the number 1 overall pick at the start of the season. Can you at least, like, bump it up to, like, Joe Flacco? But, like, current Joe Flacco?
He's fallen off, though, for sure.
Oh, he's so bad. He's so bad.
Ever since him and Cavender got in public, I'm not blaming Cavender whatsoever, but ever since he and her got together, yeah. At least the other Cavender twin is dating the Cowboys tight end Ferguson, but
she cursed the Cowboys because the Cowboys have an horrific season, and Jake Ferguson can't see because the sun's in his eyes.
Super weird though, the whole stadium thing. Like you would think they would figure out the whole sun situation.
You would think that would be like a thing they would, the sun's been setting and rising the same place for the beginning of time. You would think that they're like, hey, maybe not. Maybe let's not have giant windows facing the field where the sun is setting.
It's like, come on, Jerry, you dude, this is a multi-million-dollar stadium. Figure it out.
Did you see him? Like they asked him, like, Jerry, are you considering putting up curtains? And like he went on this huge tirade about everything. It was so funny. It's like the meme, like, Jerry, the question was, are you gonna put up curtains?
It's not that deep, buddy. Just say yes or no. Just say yes or no.
It's legit like a yes or no answer. Like, no, we're not going to, or yes, we will look into it.
Yeah, the Cowboys are just a whole mess, man. Jerry Jones is not a good owner, and that's just how it is.
Jerry Jones is a senile owner, is what he is.
Nothing will change until he leaves, which will be for a while. So
the only way he's leaving is in a casket.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while. All right, it's gonna be a long time before he passes because he looks healthy right now. I'll tell you that much.
Yep.
But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for episode 41 of season 2 of the 30 Second Podcast. That was fun. Talk about some Giants stuff, some NFL topics going around, like Richardson and Caleb, and we also touched on college football. And hopefully, Brian's Irish continue to win out, and they won't get the bye week. Hopefully, at least get the number 5 seed and have a home game.
Get a game in South Bend, like let alone 5 seed, 6, 7, or 8. Just get a home game in front of the home crowd.
Oh yeah, touchdown Jesus! Touchdown Jesus! That's so cool. I love it. When I play NCAA and I see that, I was like, that's super cool.
It was so much cooler before they renovated the stadium because you could see the whole thing from the field.
Yeah.
And then they renovated it and blocked it a little bit. Damn. Sucks.
But you can follow Brian on social media at BrianPG1016. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well, Nathan_No124. And you can follow our podcast page at TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at there. It's in pod. Clips will be out this week as well from this episode. Yeah, because we have a lot of notable topics that will be good clips. So we'll see y'all next week. We'll talk Giants ball. They take on the Bucks next week as well. So back to our regularly scheduled programming, unfortunately. Honestly, at this point, it's like, how do we lose? And, well, it's easy to lose in this league. Just put Daniel Jones at quarterback and job's easier said than done.
The rest will figure itself out.
Damn right. For Brian, I'm Nate. Thank you guys so much as always. Thank you for your support as always. And we'll see you guys next week.